If you can hear me, please type yes in the chat. Okay, perfect. I think I'm audible enough. My name is Jean from SIUK. SIUK is the official UK representative universities in Kenya. I will be moderating today's session. Thank you for joining in. Today we are privileged to be joined by the University of Southampton, which is a research-intensive university that is based in Southampton in England. This university ranks really highly, both in the UK and globally. For instance, in the UK, it ranks 12th. That is, we are talking out of more than 150 universities there. And globally, it ranks in the top 100. That we are talking in more than 20,000 universities globally. So you can imagine it's very competitive and a very good choice to do your postgraduate or undergraduate studies there. They do offer a range of programs, which Nadia will take us through shortly. SIUK, we can assist you with the application of a program in the University of Southampton. If you will be interested to do the application after this webinar, feel free to reach out to us. We will share our contact in the chat. We do have offices in Nairobi and in Mombasa, as you can see on your screen. Those are our details. If you need help with the application, please feel free to reach out to us. And if you're in neither of the two counties that we are located in, we can also assist remotely via the phone. And if you already have an offer letter to this university, we can still assist you with the visa process. So before I start, I will just let you know a few housekeeping rules. Kindly keep your mics muted all through the webinar to help Nadia do her presentation better. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask in the chat and Nadia will respond to them at the very end of the session. Any queries you have about this university or that will come up as she does her presentation, feel free to put it in the chat again. We will respond to them. After this, if you will have any more inquiries, we will have put our contacts in the chat so that you can reach out to us directly. And without wasting much time, I invite Nadia to share her screen and go on with the presentation. Welcome, Nadia.
Thank you very much for the introduction. I'm just going to share my screen, so bear with me one moment. Okay, thank you all for joining today. So just to formally introduce myself, my name is Nadia Gab and I am the International Recruitment Manager for Africa, based at the University of Southampton. Today, I will be focusing primarily on postgraduate level. So for those of you who may be interested in doing a master's or PhD, however, as mentioned in the introduction, we do teach all levels of study at higher education. So if there is anyone on the call that is interested in foundation or undergraduate, that's also not a problem. Happy to take questions at the end. And yeah, thank you for having me. Okay, so just to reiterate, I will share my email address at the end as well. So of course, I'd be very happy to keep in touch with you going forward. And of course, SIUK are in touch with us and we work closely together. So you have both of our support throughout this. So today I'm just going to introduce you a little bit about where we are, more about the university in general, a little bit about student life, accommodation and student support and resources, which are all really key in knowing what your options are at university in the UK. So a little bit about the city of Southampton. We are located on the south coast of the UK and we have a population of around 250,000. It's a very student orientated city because we have two universities based here. So of course, the University of Southampton and one other university as well. This means there's a huge population of students that are situated within the city, and it makes it really quite a nice place to be living and studying. Students get lots of benefits. So you have student discounts and events all throughout the city, and lots of facilities for you to get involved in and utilise while you're studying here. So Southampton is a coastal city, so that makes it quite an exciting feature. We have some historical links to the Titanic, and there's lots of places you can go and visit in your free time. So students often find they've got lots that they can explore and do in their spare time around their studies as well. So a few examples here, we have not only in the city itself, but also on our campuses, many of these facilities such as the cinema, theatre, art galleries, and so on. We've also got plenty of places to eat. So there's a lot of international foods in Southampton. We're a very cosmopolitan city. So we actually take pride in having lots of variety. And it's something that we often hear that is quite positive and a favourite of the students. We're also very well connected. So this is actually showing you where we are specifically. You can see we're right on the bottom of the UK there. So as I mentioned, a coastal city, and London is only just over an hour away by train. So for those of you who might be interested in visiting the capital, it's super easy to travel in and around. We also have our own airport. So this means if you are interested in travelling domestically or to visit parts of Europe, you can actually do so right from Southampton directly. You wouldn't need to travel back into London to do so. And there's plenty of transport available. So you have the central train station, coach and buses. So there really is lots of ways to visit and explore as a tourist, as a student living here. And maybe some of you may have peers or friends going to other universities. So it's actually super easy to go and visit them as you wish. So this is an overview of the city of Southampton. We've highlighted here a few key areas. So we are actually a multi-campus university. This means depending what you're studying is where you're based. We do have a sort of a main hub, which is Highfield campus. And this is where you'd find most of the main facilities. So the student union, you've got the main library, and many of the main subjects are taught here. But all very close by, very easy to connect to either by walking, by bus or by bike. You can access other parts of the university. We've got Southampton General Hospital, for example, which is a full running hospital, but it also teaches our programmes within medicine. Boulderwood campus, home to our engineering and physical sciences. Avenue campus, home to our humanities-based subjects. And right down below, we've got the waterfront campus. So this is actually home to the National Oceanography Centre. So this is quite an exciting part of the university. It's where we teach our ocean and earth sciences. And then all around these main campuses, you will find student accommodation. So our own halls of residences are available in the university, and we do actually provide accommodation for each study level. So if you are doing your undergraduate degree, you would be housed separately to those doing your master's. Okay. We also have a fantastic bus network. So this is something that we highlight because it's super popular with our students and staff, and it's called Unilink. So this means you have access to a bus service that takes you all over the city, basically door to door, if you want to go to different accommodation, campuses, or the city centre where we have our shopping centre and restaurants and things like that. It's super easy to travel in and around. It also has free Wi-Fi, and you can charge your phones on there as well. So it's just one of the most simplest ways to travel around the city. Otherwise, everything is well connected. We have well-lit pathways, cycle lanes as well, and many of our students like to walk around as well. So it's just letting you know so you have a feel of how you'd get from A to B. So the university itself, I mentioned we're a multi-campus university. So these images here are an example of some of our campuses. We actually date back to 1862. So we do have a long-standing history, and we were actually the founding member of the Russell Group. So this term, Russell Group, refers to the 24 elite research intensive universities in the UK, and we're very proud to be the founding member. So this holds a lot of gravitas with those of you who have an interest and passion in research. If you are pursuing a master's program, the research element will certainly play a part in that, and it will form one of the biggest modules, most credit-bearing parts of your master's degree. And of course, if you are interested in PhD, postgraduate research level, then of course that will also be very important as well. So we actually have 6 UK campuses, including one based in Winchester, which is home to our School of Art. And Winchester's just 10 minutes by train from Southampton. And we also have a shuttle bus that runs between Highfield and Winchester. So if anyone here is interested in any of our art programs, fashion, design, and so on, this is where you'd be based. It's worth highlighting as well, we do have one overseas campus based in Malaysia. And at present, the Malaysia campus mostly teaches programs in engineering and business at undergraduate level. So across all of our campuses, we have around 22,000 or so students from over 130 different countries. This number seems to change year on year. So we are a very diverse university. Around 35% or so are international. So this brings a lot to your sort of student experience, I'd say. We have lots of different student societies attached to different countries and so on. And it's also worth highlighting for those of you who have an interest in gaining work experience or having connections with the industry itself linked to your area of study, we do have a vast amount of industry links. So this means no matter what study level that you're at, you could potentially do an internship program or engage with a company, organization that is very much linked with your studies. And this is something we take, we sort of let students know about right from the beginning. So if you have an interest in that connection, that's something that we can certainly aid you in, as well as the studies. So it was mentioned in the introduction as well, in terms of ranking, we are a prestigious university, very well known nationally, internationally. These are some of our featured rankings. We also do very well in terms of student satisfaction and various other surveys that take place, including careers and employability. And we also do have breakdowns of subject rankings as well. So there are some courses that we are probably known more for, but we do teach a real range of offering across 5 different faculties. So this could be from engineering to medicine, arts, humanities, perhaps social sciences, and so on. So when we're looking at the postgraduate level, we actually offer over 200 programs at master's level. Just to clarify, master's would mean a 1-year full-time duration starting in September each year. So we're now actually advertising for September 2024 entry. For this year, we are now closed for our master's programs. So this gives you an idea of duration, length of course. In the UK, masters are typically 1 year only, and this varies across different countries. So it's worth you knowing that as well. We currently have over 9,500 postgraduate students, and we do also have links in terms of different research areas. So these will form part of different courses. You would be aware of different research groups and professors that are linked with these groups in terms of the program that you go for. So you can certainly engage and become part of these memberships and societies as well. So this is a brief overview of entry requirements. We do have all of our entry requirements listed on the course pages. So if you are interested in anything specifically, I would recommend that you take a look at the website and actually search for the course that you're interested in. So you can get a breakdown of the entry requirements, including English language. It's worth highlighting we do offer our own foundation program as well. So if you were interested in doing that in order to enter a master's, we offer that in-house as well. And we typically look for a bachelor's degree at a certain level from a recognised Kenyan university. I have put here as well the equivalencies. So in the UK, we typically ask for a 2-1 or first equivalent in your bachelor's degree. So this may be the equivalencies that are applicable to you. Of course, if anyone needs sort of clarification on what they have and what they need, then we can always address those case by case. So that's not a problem. Typically as well for English language, we would normally ask you to complete some form of English language test. The most commonly spoken about would be the IELTS exam, and we normally ask for 6.5 overall on average to do a master's. Some might be higher depending on the programme. So student resources, it's super important to get an idea of what's available to you throughout your entire study. Across our campuses, we have lots of different resources. The library, Hartley Library, is the main library at Highfield campus, but we do actually have study spaces, student spaces within these libraries as well. So it really is quite popular for students to go and have some time there. We also have student pods, which are suitable for group work. So if you are working on a project that that includes a group project, perhaps a poster presentation or something like that, you do have spaces around campus that you can prepare your work in. You're not limited to working in your accommodation, or if you wanted to grab a coffee somewhere in the student city itself, you will have lots of places to go and sit with your laptop. We have done a lot of recent investment in our campuses. So as we speak, for example, the Sports Centre, Jubilee, is expanding quite dramatically. So this will be ready by the autumn, which is really exciting. And we're just constantly improving and expanding the facilities for our students. The Centenary Building, which is shown here, is one example of our latest learning and teaching centre. So this is an example of where some of our lecture halls would be based. We also have really exciting facilities that are specific to different programs. So if you are interested in engineering or life sciences, we've actually got really exciting features of those around the campuses as well. Student life. So of course, around your studies, you might want to meet people, spend some time to relax in between your studies and so on. We have a student union, so they are amazing at arranging events. They do a lot around charity, volunteering, fun stuff in and around your timetable. So this means that they also establish different clubs and societies that you can join. We actually have well over 350 different clubs. So if you want to pursue a hobby or an interest or perhaps a sport, maybe try something new, there should be something for everyone. And you would be introduced to all of these clubs and societies at the very start of the programme. So we would introduce you to them during Freshers Week, which is basically before teaching starts in September. And you can have a chance to sign up and meet and chat with current students as well. We also have our own app. So this is quite popular with students because it uploads different events that are happening throughout the weeks. You can sign up to different events, buy tickets and things like that. And of course, you have access to lots of social spaces as well. We also have different areas for postgraduate students. So there's like little study rooms and social spaces just for master's students or PhD students to hang out as well. So sport and wellbeing, we are a very active university. We take pride in our sports. We have our own university sport teams. So if you were interested in actually signing up and competing for the university, that's something that you could consider. We do compete with other UK universities, so it's quite a nice way of meeting new people, travelling around the UK. or perhaps you just like to keep fit, maybe play for fun in your spare time, you will have access to different facilities to do that. We also have 6 gyms across our campuses. We've got the swimming area, lots of different courts, whether it's badminton, tennis, basketball, and we are also quite keen on football. Southampton is home to Southampton Football Club, Premier League football team. So if you have an interest in watching any sports as well, the stadium is literally on your doorstep. So yeah, there's something for everyone. And again, you would be able to sign up and have a taster of what's available on your first week here. So accommodation, this is super important, especially for yourselves as overseas students. So it's really, really key to talk about this. We do provide our own halls of residences. So if you make an application to the university, we will then let you know that that you can apply to live in our own halls. We have separate accommodation for masters and PhD students, which might be more suitable for you in comparison to living with undergraduate students, so perhaps a little bit quieter. It's all inclusive, so this means you don't have to worry about additional bills. It will of course include internet, insurance, and they are all 24 hours secure. Really nice facilities, also including social spaces, so you can hang out with people that do live in your block. We do have different options available, and what we would do is let you know your options nearer the time. But of course, if you want to check out any rooms, I do encourage you to check out our accommodation website. And we do have videos on YouTube as well that give you student tours of the accommodation. So you might find that helpful as well. For some of you, you might be interested in living in private rented accommodation off campus. That's also an option. We have lots of landlords that rent out accommodation in and around the university. So that's something we can also help you with. And no matter what, as a Southampton student, whether you live in halls or private, we can always provide you with any support that you may need around that. So tying in with student support, we want you to be aware of the different services available to you. This really does range from your well-being to academic support that you may need. There is a dedicated student hub, which basically is a huge team of staff that are there 24/7 to support our students. We actually have a one-stop shop in Highfield, the main campus. So if you wanted to pop in and speak to someone face-to-face, you can do so during working hours, but there's always someone available via live chats, telephone, and email. We also have support when it comes to finances, pretty much anything. And myself, being part of the international office as well, we also provide a lot of support for our international students. So for those who might be missing home, or wanting to connect with students from their home country and things like that, that's where we get involved in. And slightly attached to that as well, we also offer a meet and greet service. So when you arrive to the UK, we can actually help you get from the airport to Southampton and make sure you're happy on arrival. There's also the doctoral college. So this is dedicated to PhD students, and they will be there for all related queries related to your research and time at the university. So when it comes to the academic side of your experience, we want you to know that there's someone on hand to help. If you have any learning difficulties, perhaps you need some English language support or aid in how you might find resources to carry out your work, you will also be assigned a personal tutor. So of course, someone from your program will be assigned to you. You can have one-to-one meetings with. We do have an open door policy, so you can actually schedule appointments, but if you need something that day, you can possibly go along and meet with someone related to your course on the day. We also have a tech team. We've got loanable laptops. So if you don't have your own laptop, that's absolutely fine. You are able to borrow from our library. Yeah, it's kind of an all-round there. And if there's something that you can't seek, we would do our best to support and make sure we can help you anyway. So I touched on careers earlier, lightly. So we do have a dedicated careers and employability service. They are fantastic in what they do. We have advisors that are specific to each faculty. So they are an expert in different fields. This means that they are linked with industry. They know different organisations that are perhaps seeking our graduate students. So many of our students have actually made links with companies before they've even graduated. We host career fairs where we invite well-known organisations to Southampton, and you can actually meet with them one-on-one. We can prepare you in advance with questions you might want to ask them, to have your CV ready. And we are very much targeted by these big companies. We've had students, our alumni network is vast, and we've had many students go on to fantastic career routes. So this is something that we really do take pride in. We often upload and advertise opportunities to our students as well. So this ranges from whether you want part-time work while you're studying, so jobs on campus to earn a little bit while you're studying, right through to internships, work placements, volunteering, or perhaps graduate jobs. So right through that journey, really, you've got an opportunity to look at that. And we also provide support post-graduation. So as an alumni of the university, you can still pick up the phone, email, and speak with any of our careers team 5 years after you've graduated. And we really enjoy this aspect because sometimes it's quite interesting to see the journey that students have gone on. So it all like interlinks really. And many of our students who have done well also tie back in with us and provide new opportunities for new students. So yeah, it's a really nice aspect to the university. That brings me to the end. I realise I've done a lot of talking. That was very much an overview. So of course you are welcome. We will have time now to take questions. And of course, going forward, please do take note of my email address. I'm very happy to keep in touch. So yeah, that's where I'm at. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that presentation,
Nadia, for the lovely presentation. I am sure we've all learned a thing about the University of Southampton from her presentation. There are a couple of questions.
Sure.
Let me read out to you one by one. So Gichana says, "Hi Nadia, I'm interested in the university in Malaysia. How do I apply to that? And are the study rates the same, fees and all?"
Great question. Thank you so much. Yeah, so if you are interested in Malaysia, just be aware that the programs that are on offer are for undergraduate level only. So we would need to just clarify, Gichana, if you are interested in doing a bachelor's degree. If you're interested in masters, then you wouldn't be able to apply to Malaysia, as we currently don't teach master's programs there. If you are interested, for example, I'll give you an example. If you're interested in something like mechanical engineering, you could do the MEng program, which means you combine bachelor's with master's, making it a 4-year course. The fees are lower. So the tuition fee at Malaysia is a lower cost to the UK, but the actual curriculum itself is exactly the same. So the same way you would be taught that program in the UK is the same curriculum at Malaysia. We have flying faculty and we have teaching staff that are based there. It's just a different experience. Of course, you'd be in Malaysia, but it does have the campus there. So you have sports facilities, student accommodation. But the main differences would be the tuition fee and scholarships as well. But yeah, just let me know if that answers it. Feel free to come back if not. Next question.
Okay, Amor asks, what is the situation with IELTS? Must I have it?
Great question. Right, so when it comes to IELTS, this is one example of an English language test. So what does this mean? In order to study in the UK, at any of the UK universities, you need to demonstrate proof of English language so that we can see that you have an acceptable level of English language in order to cope with the level of study, because you will be fully taught and assessed in English here. So for all of our courses, we ask proof of that. IELTS is one example. We do have a full list of all the English language tests we accept, such as Duolingo and many others, TOEFL. There's quite a few that you could explore. So your answer to must I have it is yes, you need some form of English language. There's various cases. So some students have been fully taught and assessed in English for the last 2 years. And if that's the case, they would need to demonstrate and have proof of that from their previous institution. So it's just something that we can discuss, or you can discuss with SIUK, and we can determine what's the best one for you. And that would form part of your application. So academic grades, English language is part of the criteria. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. Jen says, talk about work-study programs, both during the study, duration, and after graduation.
Brilliant. Really, really good question. Thank you, Jane. So yeah, when it comes to the work element, if you wanted to do a full industry placement year, this is available to students who are doing an undergraduate program, so your bachelor's degree. So for most of our courses, excluding health sciences, you could consider doing 1 year working in industry. So this would mean, let's say, for example, you did business management. You would have year 1, year 2 studying, year 3 working in business management, and then year 4 would be your final study year. But it's not available to do a whole industry year if you're doing a master's, because the master's is just study 1 year full time. But you could explore doing a 2-week internship in the holidays, or perhaps gaining some work experience around your timetable. You can also explore opportunities after you've graduated as well. So there's the post-study work visa. So this means you can actually experience it, either during or after. It's worth saying as well, if you wanted to work part-time during your studies, your student visa allows you to do so during term time, but with a limit of up to 20 hours per week and full-time hours in the holidays. So yeah, that's quite a lot of information, but I hope that answers your question. Thank you.
Okay, Steve says, I am keen on an MSc in electrical engineering or something related. Okay. Kindly let me know how to go about it, since I have a second-class law in my undergrad.
Okay, good question. So yeah, with the engineering subjects, we typically ask for the equivalent of a 2-1. You will need to have your background in engineering to pursue that at master's level. I'm just wondering if I can share my screen, I can show you our website with this course page so you get an idea. And this is helpful for everyone, so you can understand how you can see if it's suitable for you or not. Let me go to new share. Bear with me. I'm just going to go to the page.
No problem.
So can you see, it should say course finder. Okay.
Yes.
Brilliant. So this is our course finder page. So for everyone on the call, if you want to look at what we have, you can look at undergraduate, postgraduate. So with this example, if you want to look at electrical, if you just start typing at master's level, this is what we offer. MSc in electrical power systems. If you type in engineering, you will see the full breadth of master's programs in engineering. So I know you mentioned electrical engineering. It might be that you have a look through this list and see what one is most suitable. Okay, so for example, electronic engineering could be the one that is for you. If we were to select that as an example, on our course page, you will have full entry requirements. So this is specific to this program. You will need a 2-1 degree or equivalent in electronic engineering or closely related subjects. You need to have 1 maths module and 5 electronic modules. Okay, so this will be helpful for everyone. When you are looking at specific masters, it does tell you what you need in order to get that. So I hope that helps answer your question.
Yeah, that was very clear. Thank you.
Great.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm very curious. Do you offer transfer programs? Like, can I start in Malaysia and transfer to the UK?
So with Malaysia, let's see, actually, I'm trying to think if I can show you what the way it normally works is, sorry, I can't type and speak. The way it normally works is you could do 2 years in the UK followed by 2 years in Malaysia. If you wanted to transfer, we would just look at what you've achieved so far. But we do have full details of our Malaysia campus here. So this will give you the details in terms of courses. I mentioned earlier that at the moment we're teaching business, engineering and computer science, but you will see that these are majority bachelor level undergraduate, unless you did a combined bachelor's masters, otherwise known as MEng. So yeah, it's basically you do the whole course there, or you could do, if you were doing the MEng, you could do 2 years in the UK, 2 years in Malaysia, or vice versa.
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
Purity says, this sounds like a great university. Just for clarity, what is the relationship with Russell Group and how is that good for me as a student?
Yeah, great question. So Russell Group, if you basically have your experience and your degree from a Russell Group university, it will hold gravitas because we are known to be the elite group of universities in the UK. So the equivalent would be like the Ivy League in America. So this means we are part of an elite group, including Oxford, Cambridge, and so on. So this means the professors, the staff who are teaching on your course are well known, established. They may have published work. The curriculum, the course that you're learning is very much world leading. And it means that you're being taught at a university that has actually made real impact in the world. So we actually take pride in saying that we have degrees to save the world, because we do teach in many exciting areas to do with climate change, biomedical engineering, and subjects like that. So yeah, I hope that answers the question. Russell Group is often said in these sessions, but not everyone may know what that means. So it's really good you've addressed that as well.
Thank you for addressing that. Steve says, rather asks, what types of accommodation do you have and how much on average would it cost? I know you have touched on accommodation during the presentation, but you can just clarify for Steve and everyone else who wants to be clarified for.
Yeah, no problem. It's such an important question. Like you're knowing how you're going to be living around your studies is so key. So I completely appreciate that. We have, as I say, we have our own halls of residences. So what I would encourage you to do is explore our website. You can see the different options, the different price range. We do have accommodation specific for postgraduate students. Depending on your budget is what you can go for. But also, to give you an idea, if you were living in Southampton for 1 year and you're thinking about everything day to day, your accommodation costs, food, social life, we normally say you'll need around £9,500 or so. It is cheaper to live in Southampton because we're away from London. So the cost of living is a little bit kinder here. We have lots of student discounts as well, which means that if you show your student card, you often get discounted prices on going to the cinema or restaurants and things like that. So it's all about how you budget. And like I say, we have different student jobs available. So if you wanted to have a part-time job around your studies that works well with your timetable, we also have lots of student jobs available. But yeah, okay. I mean, yeah, have a look and see. And we've got lots of YouTube videos as well, which might take your fancy as well.
Okay, thank you. Have I locked out anyone? Are there any more questions? I believe I haven't locked out anyone.
I think we have a question. Have you will I get an engineering job in the UK after the study? Please tell Steve. So much.
Yeah, great question. So yeah, if you are interested in working in the UK after you study, the way it works is you would pursue or look for those opportunities. Like I say, you can actually do that while you're studying. Your student visa does allow some time for you to remain in the UK after you graduate. If you were able to find a job with a company who want to hire you, it would be down to them to sponsor you. So it's a different visa. You're no longer a student. They would be looking for our graduates. Definitely, there's lots of graduate schemes. So there are many opportunities for you to do that. We've had students that have remained in the UK, or they've gone all around the world, Europe, perhaps back to their home country, because that's why they've come to study, in order to move further in their field there. There's lots of opportunities for you to consider, but the degree itself will definitely open doors for sure. Okay.
Okay, thank you. I hope I haven't locked out anyone. I think not. Thank you so much,
That's
Nadia,
okay.
for the amazing presentation. It was very insightful.
No problem.
And I would like to reiterate that we at SIUK are available to help you kickstart your application to the University of Southampton. If you so wish to proceed with that, please reach out to us. Our contacts are in the chat, 0784 999997, and we can get you started for the next available intake. Thank you, everyone, for joining in. Thank you so much, and have a lovely day or night or afternoon.
Thank you.
Oh yes, just an important thing to note, we have recorded the session. We will share the link with everyone who's attended. You can also check on our YouTube for reference if you need to clarify something for yourself that you didn't hear clearly. You can just listen to the recording and get what was said. And with that said, bye everyone and have a lovely time.